Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Monique and today I'm going to be decorating my monthly spread for August. As you might notice, there are already stickers placed in different areas, and that is because I started decorating this before August began and before I decided to start this channel. And so I tried to do my best to get rid of some of the stickers that were already placed. I had some in different areas. You might notice the white out. It doesn't look super pretty, but that's fine. I'm going to cover it eventually. And I didn't want to remove these just because, well, I'd already drawn in some hair for the hair appointment in purple. And so I didn't want to remove that because, I don't know, I think it makes sense a little bit for the design that I want to do today. And so what I decided to do, because it is August, because it's the month when school is going to begin, I wanted to do a back to school spread. But I wanted to make it a little bit more fun. And so I want to show you the sticker books that I'm going to be using today. I am going to, number one, be using the Happy Planner Abstract Silkscreen Teacher. Now, I know that these are big sticker sheets and I'm decorating a classic layout from a classic planner, but I am interested to kind of give it a go, especially when it comes to the different sticker designs. And so as you can notice, this is kind of the scheme I'm going for, very like colorful, but not pastel, more like bold colors. And so I'm going to be pulling from this sticker sheet. I'm also, here's where the fun part comes in, wanting to use the Happy and Hungry Happy Planner sticker book because the colors match the boldness of the colors in the Silkscreen Teacher. So I think that I will be able to make something hopefully cute and fun. And I don't know, when I think of little food items, specifically the fruit items and their faces, it just reminds me of smiley faces, and I don't know, it just makes sense to me. Though I teach college, as I mentioned in a previous video, I still like to keep it fun, and so that's what we're going with today. I'm also pulling from the months sticker book, and specifically I'm going to be using obviously the August section as well as the August numbers. As you can see, it has that bold green, and so that's what we're gonna do there. So let's get started. I am excited because I'm not really sure where this is going to go, but one thing I can tell you is that I have a lot going on this month. Even though next week is my last week off before I go back to work for convocation week, which is the week before school starts, I still have a lot going on, and I decided for whatever reason to book myself up completely in that final week, as you can see here. And then once school starts, there's a lot of things going on. I have 2 birthdays happening this month, my best friend Sabrina and my mom's birthday later on in the month. And then of course we have the first day of classes towards August 25th and August 18th. Yeah, so like I said, these school years are 1 week apart from each other, so that's why I've written work and I've written school. As I mentioned, I do teach where I'm going to school as a teaching fellow in the PhD program, but then I also, you know, obviously work at a different college full-time. And so when I say work, that's what I mean. And when I say school, I'm meaning first day of classes for my grad classes and also the classes that I'm teaching there. Okay. So that's what we're focusing on first before we decorate. But actually before that, I want to go ahead and start filling out the different dates. So let's go ahead and flip to August. This is my first time practicing laying over a month on top of something written, and so I'm interested to see how that goes. But what I'm going to do first is color August. It's so crazy to think that I think this is like my 5th video already. I think it's because I started at the end of the month, and so there was the monthly spread, there was the currently, there was the weekly, and now the monthly. But I think it's going to become more consistent where it's just once a week with the weekly spread. I'm thinking I want to go with this one because it's a lot more spaced out than the other bold one, which is the other one I was considering. So I can't find my other more angled tweezers for whatever reason. I'm not super like good, I guess, at doing this, but that's okay. We're learning, right? It's too bad that there's not a 2025 option, but anyways, nonetheless. So as I was saying, I'm really interested to see what it's gonna be like to, you know, find time to film. I mean, you know what? It makes sense. I think I'm gonna do it at the end of each week. That way I can focus on all of my work and school during the week. And I can use the weekend to work on videos, and it's not like it takes a long time. It really doesn't. And it's helping me, you know, plan, which is really the point. I mean, obviously it's a fun way to be creative, but it's also an opportunity to take the time to sit down and plan, but in a more fun way. Okay, I think it might be in my best interest to actually white out the numbers before placing them over. So let me try to lift this. Yeah, see, I'm not perfect at this at all. I'm learning. It is a tool. Am I right? Okay. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and white out everything first. That way, the whiteout will hopefully be dry by the time that I get to the number. It's been really inspiring to watch different creators plan and create their spreads because, you know, all I ever knew beginning last year, actually around this time, I discovered Happy Planner through a TikTok creator. She's a teacher. Her name is, I'm trying to think. You know, I'm drawing a blank. But she had a Happy Planner and she was showing how you could pull out the sheets and then snap them back in. And I thought that was so neat. And I am a sucker for planners, and I actually hadn't had a physical planner in a while because I had started using a digital planner. I just found that I use my calendar more efficiently. But after switching, you know, I had gotten a teacher planner, and then I just didn't find it helpful in the sense that teaching a college course or teaching college courses is a lot different than teaching, you know, 7 periods or teaching multiple subjects, you know, as a K through 12 teacher. And so it just wasn't working for me because I was like, well, I'm just going to end up, I guess I just didn't have a lot to write. And so I tried out a different layout. I tried out I think it's the productivity one. It had what's it called? The ability to put in it had timestamps, yeah. And then you just kind of fill in that. And then there was one box underneath to write a to-do list. But then I found that, I was just repeating the same schedule every week. So the thing that I love about teaching at the college level is that I guess where I teach specifically, every semester is different. My schedule is always different every semester, which is fun because I don't get bored of, the same schedule. But yeah, so with that being said, I just had too many similar things to write every week underneath the timestamps. I mean, of course, here and there I would have an appointment or two to write in, which made it fun. But for the most part, it was always just writing the same thing. And I found that I was needing actually the ability to write a lot of checklists. And so as I was creating my own planner, now that they have the custom planners, I decided to go with the monthly layout, which has been really useful for the time off because I've just had a bunch of checklists to work on different things like cleaning and organizing. Decluttering has been my goal for the summer, I guess, for the 5 weeks off. So that's been really useful. But as I've begun this channel, I'm really liking the classic layout, which I didn't think I liked just because I guess I didn't ever try decorating it. I didn't realize how fun it can be to actually use certain boxes, even if you don't use it, to decorate. And so now that I've discovered that, I'm like, oh my goodness, I like I like the classic layout. But that's fine, these are for 2025 to 2026, and I can always buy a new one next year. So that's what's cool about it. And I also just really love this particular classic layout planner because it's from the Beetlejuice collection. Or I guess it was the Beetlejuice box. And I just love it so much. I am entering year 2 of my PhD program. I am getting my PhD in rhetoric, composition, and pedagogy, which is a specific concentration related to the English PhD. And so what I'm interested in learning about is the process of teaching pedagogy, really, composition pedagogy, what it means to teach first-year writing courses is really my interest, in addition to what's known as multimodal composing, which is the process of creating something in multiple modes, such as different genres. So, for example, rather than having students write traditional seminar papers all the time, I often involve some kind of multimodal opportunity. So in my 1302 class, in their final paper, it's a position paper, but then they are asked to reimagine that particular topic and their argument and what they've written in a multimodal format. So I've had students create podcasts or create documentaries. I've seen a lot of videos and sometimes digital infographics, websites, and it's just really cool to see students really push themselves out of their comfort zones, but then also when you give students the opportunity to write about and talk about what they care about, a topic of their interest, rather than a prompt where you're like, you have to write about this and you have to use this specific article, you really just begin to get to know your students on another level. And you also begin to realize, oh, you know, there's a lot of learning that can be created, and an environment where students feel like they actually care about what they're learning and about their progress and such. And anyways, so then that comes with my interest in public writing, which is thinking about ourselves as academic citizens, but also individuals in society, and the ways in which we can use our voices to make a difference. And that doesn't necessarily have to mean, you know, protesting. It can be the simple act of discussing something that matters to you and posting it online and creating a community. And a lot of creators here on YouTube, planners, and for example, Planning with Bumble is one that I've been really watching a lot, and also Plan with Elise. And I've just noticed this interest in discussing mental health a lot, which is a perfect example of what I mean, how you create a community and then you open up about something, and it creates a really impactful moment for people to connect. Not just with decorating, for example, decorating planners, but also just what it means to be a human. And I think that that's what I really enjoy teaching students or helping students discover, which is, you know, what their interests are, who they are, and what matters to them. Because I feel like sometimes in school, they don't really get the opportunity to think about those things. It's often just, oh, you know, I have to take this class. I have to take this core course in order to graduate. But there's not really always a lot of opportunity to really think about and kind of marinate in what they're learning and how it can be of benefit to them and their growth, not as students, but as individuals in the world. So that's just, I guess, my little tangent about what I'm really passionate about when it comes to teaching and also research. And I'm really excited about the semester. So for the PhD program, there are 2 years of coursework, and then the third year is PhD exams. And let's see, the fourth and fifth year are dedicated to the dissertation. So like the prospectus, the proposal, and then obviously doing the research, writing the dissertation, and then defending the dissertation. So it's just crazy to think how quickly things happen. I'm very blessed to be in the position that I'm in. I did defer a year, so I was actually supposed to start my PhD program in fall 2023, but I was asked to teach temporary full-time at the college where I'm teaching, which I had already been doing for a semester, and I knew that I would not be able to do a teaching fellowship on top of being a student, on top of teaching like 5 to 6 classes all at once. And then of course a full-time load of school is taking 3 classes at a time. And so I deferred, and then I was so grateful because the college where I teach, they moved to an 8-week model. That has its pros and cons, and we can get into that a different day, but it allowed more flexibility with my schedule, and so I'm able to now, you know, do the teaching fellowship, be a full-time student, and be a full-time professor. And so it's not necessarily easy, but because it's what I love and I'm getting to do what I love, it makes it worth it in the end. So thanks for listening to that. We now have our stickers and our dates. Perfect. So now we can get into planning the actual months, and then we can get into decorating. So the first thing is we have 2 waxes. So I break up my waxes into multiple days because, first of all, I don't want to be waxed for like an hour and a half. So I often split up the days. I want to try this out because I'm actually not sure. This is my first time trying to use like a box on a month, and so I'm not really sure if that's gonna work, but I want to try nonetheless. So I guess let's start here with the 4th. So let's see if this works. It might actually. And if it does, then I'll be so grateful. Yep. Cool. I might just shift the 4 up a little bit. That way it's not... yeah, that way it's not covered. Okay, wonderful. Well, that worked out. Okay, so that's the 4th, and then the 5th, my doggy, Shiloh, has a yearly checkup, and so I don't necessarily want to use a box there just because I've already done that here. But let's shift down to... I might actually lay down a box and then place this on top of the box. That way it's a little bit more cohesive. I'm really praying that this doesn't mess up, because I still really want to use this sticker. Okay, perfect. Okay, so that's the 8th. I have my physical, so I'm gonna place this on one of them. So I've already used the blue, so I think here I'll use, yeah, I like that. I'll use a red. One thing that I have figured out as I've been making monthlies, or I guess using the planner in general, is that I don't want to use times in my monthly layout because I can just use times in the weekly spread. That way I'm not like trying to fit so much information, especially if I have more than one thing on the same day. Okay, I think that the 8 is visible enough, right? So I'm not gonna try to even take that off. Okay, so doctor's appointment. Let's see. Let's do one for my mom's birthday. And I think I'm gonna do pink. And wait, do I wanna do pink? Am I going to use pink in the decoration is the question. I think so, yeah. Okay, so I'll do that then. I'm going to use this pink one for the 29th. So let's do that. So that's kind of what I'm worried about here, is if the 29 is going to be visible, because now we're dealing with 2 numbers versus 1. So maybe I can make it work if I just kind of lay it on top. I think that could work. Yeah, that worked. And it's kind of cute because it matches. Well, it doesn't fully match, but I guess the green and the green kind of complement each other. Okay, so we have my mom's birthday, and then we have one day where I'm actually quite busy, and that's the 20th. So I'm not including the teaching times or anything, but just know that starting, you know, the 18th, I'm teaching, and on this particular day, it's gonna be kind of busy. I'm gonna teach a course, and then I have this teaching conference at my school. which they do every semester, and it's always on a random day. I think it's normally on a Wednesday though, and it's a full day of, you know, sessions. I actually led a roundtable with one of my professors at the spring conference, and it was really fun. She's amazing. But okay, but I digress. So let's see, I have multiple things, so I'm gonna go ahead and do one. The 20th is my best friend's birthday, and she reminds me of the color purple. Not the book, but her aura, I guess. So maybe I'll use the purple instead. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. So see, I'm kind of covering that white out that was there. Okay, and then I'm gonna do the same thing I did here. I'm wondering if y'all's month is as crazy as mine, because you know what though? This is when life gets fun for me. These past few weeks, it's really the first time I've been off where I actually feel like I'm doing something other than working and have something other than work on my mind. Of course, I've been working throughout to prepare. In fact, I was at the coffee shop today, but it's the first time maybe that I've discovered a newfound hobby, and so I'm actually pouring myself into it. So that's been really nice, but I thrive off of stress in some ways. I don't necessarily think that that's healthy, but I do thrive off of it a little bit. This semester will be nice. I always try to kind of schedule my office hours so that I have at least one day where I can go to a coffee shop and stay there all day. And where I work, we get Fridays off. It's not like that I'm not working, but I mean, we don't have to physically go into, okay, I was so confused where I was putting this sticker, where we have to like go into the office. So a lot of people use that as, you know, a day to get errands done. I think I might do some of these boxes. That way I can use a box here and put the appointment, but I won't lose the hair thing. I think I'm gonna use a green here. I'm kind of sad because my dad's sick. Not like anything crazy, but he's a singer, and okay, should I do trying to think, because I wanted to do like, but this is, I don't want it to be upside down, so I might just do this. I don't even know why I actually did because it's a sticker, so I didn't even need to do that to begin with. Okay, well, that's fun. Okay, I'm just gonna do this. Okay, I think that works. So that's that's convocation, and then my nails. I need to do my nails. So I'm gonna do another box here, and I'm gonna go in with the orange. Should I do orange? A blue? I think I'm gonna do a blue. But yeah, My dad, all my life, he's sang in a band. He's been in multiple bands, but he's always sang. And so I've always grown up loving all kinds of music. And anyways, he had been looking for a place to do karaoke because he just recently left a band of his, and it ended up being that they're having a karaoke contest, and a $30,000 karaoke contest, but you have to win 3 times in order to go to the finale, I guess, or go to the finals, and then there's the finale. And he went one day and he won, and the owner said he won 2 times. He counted it as 2 times because my dad sang this Journey song, Separate Ways, is that what it's called? And yeah, so my dad sang that, and that's his favorite song, and so he said, okay, that counts as 2 wins, come back and win next week. Well, he went, it's kind of complicated because they choose a random person from the audience to, you know, tell the person, or I guess to choose the winners. And so it's really subjective if you think about it, but my dad is a really amazing singer, without a doubt. And some people who won, it's just like, I mean, maybe I'm being biased, but and that's no shade to anyone. I think everyone who gets up and sings is amazing and is courageous. I sing, but I'm too nervous to get up, you know, and sing in front of people. But yeah, so this week was the last week of the competition days because it ends on August 1st. But this week my dad's sick, so he didn't go. And so, but I saw that, I think that they're extending it. So I think there's going to be one last opportunity next week that hopefully, if he's not sick, he can go and potentially win and go to the finals. But nonetheless. Okay, so here we are. I think that I have put everything I need. Okay, so now I can start filling things in. And I kind of like how this sticker situation is, rather than writing things out. So I'm trying to decide if maybe I want to go that route and look for stickers to add. I might actually do that. Let's see if I can find this. So the 4th, you know what? I remember one of the new sticker books. Is it the Everyday Plans? I think it's from Everyday Plans. I think there was one about a dog. I think there's one about vet appointment or something. I'm almost certain. Okay, well, here's one. There's a manicure. So I'm gonna go in with that one, and we're gonna go with the green. Here, so y'all can see this. We're gonna go in with the green, and this is on the 22nd. Should I like... Okay. So we have that. And then... Okay, I was looking for the vet. Look, we have some stuff here too that matches. We have some birthday stickers also. I might actually go in with this one for my mom's birthday. That's cute. It makes it look like I'm saying it's pineapple cake, right? See, that's the thing, you know, now that I have a lot of sticker books, there's just so many ones to sift through. Okay, here we are. Wonderful. Okay, so this one is the 5th. Oh, look, I didn't even put anything there, but you know what? I don't think I need anything but the sticker there. I want to do a... That's my dog, he's my best friend, he's my dog. Purple. That way I can list those things, multiple. And then the 18th, we have the first day of classes. And that's the same thing for the 25th. So I don't think I'm gonna find anything in there, but maybe. Okay, let's go in with this. Sorry, y'all can't see this. The push pen. Okay, so now let's write stuff in. Vacation. Week. First day of. I don't know why I didn't do the L capitalized. First day of classes. First day. I should probably done a different color. And then I can say school. Teaching. Oh my gosh. Okay. Teaching conference. So I might be able to move that up then, because I... Sabrina's birthday. Okay, here I'm gonna go in with, let's do blue. Mom's birthday. I kind of wish I could put like some type of cake here also, because I thought that was really cute over here. So I think I'm gonna go in with this cupcake. And I want it to match, so let's do a purple cupcake. Oh, that's cute. It looks like he's holding it. Okay. So anyways, I've been also pulling from the Everyday Plans Happy Planner. I think this is the, actually no, yeah, it's just the Everyday Plans one. Okay, yay! So we have all of the dates. You might have noticed I didn't put in the Starbucks fall drinks return, but now it's time to decorate. So this is the fun part, and I'm really interested to see how it's gonna turn out. Kind of want to lay this so it like seems like it's kind of sitting there. Yeah, I think I want to go with that. I want to see if I could make this work. I might just do that and then cut off the extra bit. My fear about cutting things is just the fear that I'm gonna cut off the actual paper, you know what I mean? Every time I mess up, I keep thinking of this catchphrase, "Oh my lamb," because I've been watching, as I mentioned in my currently video, I've been watching Queen's Court. I actually just finished season 1. Yeah, I guess we can go with that. Gotta put like somewhere in the middle. Because it doesn't like perfectly fit, but it'd be so interesting if something like this triangle, if it fit. I wonder if it will. It might actually. Yeah. Yeah, see, they just don't fit. It would have been so nice if it did, though. I'm wondering, could I spruce it up with that, or is that just too much? There's something cool about just like kind of being a little wacky. Haven't I said that before? Like it's just putting things that might not typically go together. This is taking longer than I thought it would. Oh my gosh, you know what I just noticed? The little smiley face came off, and I don't remember when it came off. I really wanted to do something like bold and extravagant, but I feel like the only way to do that would be to have used this up here. Oh, dang it. What do we think? Am I ruining something good? I feel like I always ask that question, but am I ruining something good by taking off the apple and putting something else? I guess it just like, I just don't like the bottom of this and how it creates like an open space. And I feel like it could look good to just lay it on top. So I want to get rid of this, the clear right here. That way it just sits directly on top. Yeah, I actually like that a lot more. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Okay. Okay, so I think that that's it. That took a long time, but you know what? It's fine. To me, it's like so fun and relaxing. I'll probably just like cut bits of it, I guess. But yeah, here it is. This is my August, so I tried to mesh back to school stuff with cute little fruit and vegetables, and this is how it came out. So thank you for watching, and I will see you all in my next video.